Hey guys, welcome back to Lazy Guy DIY. This is phase 2 of our outdoor renovation. As you can see, we've already started here. I've cleared out a ton of space, and what we're going to do is we're going to start filling in where these fence post holes are. We're going to take this fence that's back here, we're going to take it down and move it about 20 feet this way and build a whole new fence line that comes up here. This space is in between houses. It was never used before, and thanks to our friends at Home Depot Rental, we have the equipment that lets us get this job done. So enough of the talking, let's get to working and show how we're going to expand this play space.
Before we can add a fence, we need to measure things out here. So the fence is going to be about 20 by 11 feet. So I measured out here, and it's also a good time to remind you that you can go online and reserve your rental tools at Home Depot Rental, and you can reserve them up to 30 days in advance. So first thing I'm going to do, once I've marked out where my post holes are going to be, and actually I couldn't do them quite as evenly as I wanted to because of a few stumps and things that are in the ground that I just could not get out. So I tried to make them as even as possible, but I started digging here with the post hole digger and shovel and found out that these vines from the ivy that's on the ground there, the ground cover, have just gone insane through the years. I mean, I just got frustrated and started digging and pouring and pulling and everything up and wound up with a giant pile of vines here from the ivy. As you can see, I mean, it's huge. It went on for miles, it seemed like. But back to the fence build here. What I used was the post hole digger, and I dug just about 2 feet, anywhere from 18 inches to 2 feet will work for these posts. And I made sure everything was set up here in level and even. And then I went back and got some quick commercial grade Quikrete. Pour them in here, and this stuff sets within 20 to 30 minutes. I let it set for overnight, and a little tip that I got also was that you don't have to wet it down completely. You can just let a little rainwater and everything go in there, or the moisture in the ground, and that'll bring it to a complete solid state, and you don't have to worry about just filling these things and babysitting them. So as you see, I'm going in, I'm watering them here, and everything was good to go here pretty soon. So next rental is a reciprocating saw, again from Home Depot Rental, and I'm tearing down the old fence and just cutting through everything with a demolition blade. So pull it down, and then we finally have some space I can walk through here and expand the yard. But I had to get these old fence posts out of here. So what do? Dig them up a little bit and try to move around and figure out how well the person that assembled these. So shake, didn't go anywhere. And here's a quick tip here. Just take a screwdriver, drill gun, add a couple screws to a scrap piece of wood. And once you loosen this up here, you should be able to pick it up pretty easily, because it's a little hard to grab a little leverage there when you don't have anything on it. So we'll see if it worked. Pretty easy, even though it was heavy, good to go. For the fence assembly here, I'm going to match the design that goes for the rest of the house. And I probably would have done something a little bit different, but we're just using here pretty simple. We're using the 4x4s for the post, and then we're using pressure treated 2x4s as well for the frame. It's going to be a top, bottom, and sides that I'm attaching here just with 2-inch decking screws. And then I'll go back with the fence pickets and the nail gun afterwards. So as I tap things on here, get everything all squared up, it'll show pretty much what the design looks like here in just a second. So as you can see, that post had a little bit of wiggling, and that's because it hadn't quite set yet. So a little more water on there, and then once this thing was completely assembled, everything looked pretty good. So as you can see, I can probably pull it on here a little bit to tighten it up. And then after that, after a good rainstorm, everything was pretty solid. So now on to adding the fence pickets. I just picked these up here. These are just 1x6s. They're specifically for fences that I picked up at my Home Depot. And now for my other rental, I am using the DeWalt 21-degree framing gun. You've seen me use this before on projects, and it is great. Anything as far as framing I did for the playhouse, and for the shed extension as well. So they just go right on, and this thing can run for miles and miles. It is a great nail gun, and if you have any sort of project where you're using any lumber like this, I absolutely recommend it. So one thing that you see me doing here as well, I made a little jig. It's just a little spacer that sets in between and is the height of what my my fence picket should be. So I'll set it in there, I'll put one up, and then nail it here, and that's pretty much it. Here's the last one.
All right, guys, that's it for phase 2 of this overhaul of the backyard. Now, one of the things that you may notice that I did not address is you see on the post here, I actually have these little solar lights up there, and you may be asking, why are the posts so long? Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these planters here and these plants, and we're gonna use some leftover fence that's from the fence teardown, and we're gonna make suspended planters that are gonna hang from chains. So that's all part of phase 3 in the reveal of this section of the house. So looking forward to it. Hopefully you can check it out. So tune in, coming up here soon. And thanks again to our friends from the Home Depot rental for sponsoring this. And make sure, if you're on here, if you like this video, to subscribe to my channel, Lazy Guy DIY, and then maybe check out an old video as well. So thanks, guys. Stay tuned, and we'll see you on the next one.